Hi folks, how you doing? It's Rev Paul here for this week's message from the truck. I am the rector of St. Augustine of Canterbury in Windsor, Ontario, for a few more weeks yet, and also chaplain to the Sent as I continue to offer an almost weekly message in my message from the truck. An opportunity for me to share a couple of ideas and reflections with you, as well as the upcoming announcements and so on for the community for the week. This afternoon, I wanted to share something with you that I witnessed as I came into the office today. So right now it's kind of pouring rain, and you might even be hearing that over the sound of the speaker as the rain is hitting the windshield. But when I first arrived here today, the sun was still shining for the most part, and the young person who takes care of our lawn maintenance here at the church was taking care of getting all of the grass cut and everything before the rain set in and before the grass got too long. And he was doing an excellent job of it, and he was nearly done by the time I arrived, and that's all fine and good. But I was looking out the front window of my office as I sat down and was sort of thinking about what had been accomplished and what was yet to be accomplished for the day. And I noticed underneath one of the trees in the front section of the yard were some dandelions that were still popping their heads out. Now, dandelions are something that, depending on who you are and the way that you look at them, are either a gigantic nuisance or the first flowers of the year, depending on your preference. I know lots of mums and dads and aunts and uncles and grandmas and grandpas have been gifted lots of bouquets of dandelion from young people who thought they were just the most beautiful yellow plants to bring inside and share as a gift to their loved one. I know lots of other folks who actually really enjoy a dandelion tea, or even using the leaves of dandelion for making a salad. And I know lots of other folks who use a choice number of words, and very specific words at that, to describe dandelions when they are showing up in their lawns. And there are companies that will spray your lawns to get rid of the dandelions. There are companies that will come along and weed your lawns. There are people who will literally spend hours over the course of a weekend sitting on their backside, digging their way through the piles or the roots of the dandelions on their lawn just to get that pristine green patch that they're looking for. So dandelions sort of have a personal affinity to you depending on your preference. But the thing that struck me about dandelions today was actually more about the consistency of dandelions. In the scriptures for tomorrow, we're going to hear from Luke's version of the road to Emmaus, Luke's version of the gentlemen who are wandering along their way after the crucifixion, after the resurrection, and they're wandering their way back to their normal everyday lives. And Jesus joins them on the road, and it wasn't until later on when he broke bread with them that they realized who he was. But in the midst of that, they tell the story. So you haven't heard the story of the one who was crucified. You haven't heard the story of the one who was accused to be king of the Jews, who was accused of all of these horrible things. And as it turns out, that actually is who he was. And he did rise from the dead, and the women came and told us about it. And isn't it exciting? And in the midst of all of that, Jesus continues to listen to them and lets them tell the story. They couldn't wait to tell the story. They couldn't wait to tell the story to the first person that they met on that road. And I know that we're told regularly in Scripture that we are to go out and tell the good news. We're going to hear that through all of the letters from the apostles, the Acts of the apostles, even Jesus himself saying, go out and preach the good news. Go out and tell the story. Go out and baptize, nurture, and teach everything that I've taught you. And in the midst of that, I wonder sometimes if we maybe need to be a little bit more like dandelions in the way we evangelize. We need to be that beautiful gift that's given to the person who identifies it as such, who says, I needed to hear this gift of the good news today. I needed to hear this idea that just makes me warm and comfortable and present to the presence of Christ. And sometimes we need to be those leaves of the dandelion making into a tea, or even for nutritional value, we need to be the ones who go out and feed people with the strength and the power and the overwhelming love of the gospel. And sometimes we need to be the dandelion that gets in the way of people that think they've got it all figured out. And we need to be the dandelion that gets into the lawn and just keeps growing and keeps planting seeds and keeps regenerating and keeps repopulating everywhere that person doesn't want us to be in their life, because they're not wanting to hear the gospel, or they're trying to run away from the gospel, or whatever it is they're trying to do. They're trying to remove it from their lives. And that's that place where we have to be too. So it's amazing how a dandelion can pop right up. After a lawn is cut, even within hours, those yellow flowers are already back again. And I think we need to be in that same place. Just like those gentlemen that were on the road that met Jesus, they need to be in that place where even when their lives had been cut down, even when their presence with Jesus had been ended, even when they were in the darkest of days, they couldn't wait to pop up and tell their story again. They couldn't wait to pop up and be that little glimpse of brilliance, that little glimpse of good news, that little glimpse of hope for anybody who needed to hear it, whether a stranger or whether somebody that they knew well. So, I invite you to be like dandelions this week. I invite you to go out into the world and be that beauty, that nutrition, that spiritual nutrition, that presence that somebody doesn't want, if necessary, in somebody's life this week. All right, enough for that for right now. I think we need to move on to a couple of announcements. Really not a whole lot to share. I know that we've got a Bible study that's starting up again this week. It's actually a book study, To Love and Serve. It's a book that's been written for the Anglican Church of Canada. It describes all kinds of different parts of our Anglicanism, what it means to be Anglican, what it means to declare the words of the Creed, what it means to have our 39 articles of faith, those kinds of things, all in one book, which is really super handy. And Reverend Ryan is going to run us through a few of those chapters of that book over the next 5 weeks. And that starts on Tuesday. That'll be the today's the 22nd. That makes it the 25th. Tuesday, the 25th of April, that Reverend Ryan's going to start that study with us, and anybody can join that. Just send us a message at deployed.for.god@gmail.com, and we'll make sure that we get you onto the list so that you can get all of the necessary readings and so on, the necessary page numbers and so on, so that you can join us in that book study on Tuesday, as Reverend Ryan is just going to randomly pick 5 different chapters over the course of the next 5 different weeks and share with us a little bit of To Love and Serve as we continue in that journey of education and learning here at the Sent. The other thing that is coming up relatively soon is the community of St. Augustine is having a chicken dinner takeout only barbecue. So you may recognize this, folks from St. James and folks from All Saints, you may recognize this as Jim the Chicken Man, who's going to come and share with us his barbecuing expertise and create these half-chicken dinners for us. And we'll get barbecue chicken and a baked potato and some coleslaw and a roll and, of course, a wonderful slice of pie, all for less than a nationally recognized chicken restaurant could make a half-chicken dinner for. I'll let you figure out what nationally recognized half-chicken restaurant that might be, because there are a couple choices, actually. But anyhow, we're looking to do that on Wednesday, May the 24th, so just a month or so from now. Actually, I guess that'll be a month from Monday, but it's Wednesday, May the 24th. It's the Wednesday following the May long weekend, and you need to get tickets in advance. Contact the church, or you can send us an email, and we'll check it out there. But otherwise, just send us a message and let us know, and we'll be sure to get you on that list. For right now, knowing that it is a rainy and kind of miserable day outside, I want to make sure that you're staying safe out there and that you're watching your speed and all of that kind of thing, because I want to make sure that you are able to keep the shiny side up and the rubber side down. Blessings to you all from this week's Message from the Truck. I'm Reverend Paul. We'll talk again soon. Bye for now.